Hello, beautiful people, and thank you so much for joining me today. This is one part of a 7-part Intro to Aerial series. If you haven't already checked it out, you should. If you like this video, please consider subscribing to my channel. Anyways, today is going to be all about working out that core. We're going to begin today's practice sitting in a bucket seat.
Hello everyone, this is Hannah from the future. Just a reminder that even though this video is aimed at beginners, we all start at different places. If any of these moves are difficult for you today, no worries, and relax or maybe play around on yourself and just join back with me whenever you're ready.
Whether it's a gentle practice or a vigorous workout, I always like beginning the practice with some grounding. Take a moment to leave the day behind, or if it's great, maybe take a moment to embrace it. Take a few of the deepest breaths you've taken all day. With each breath, feel a little lighter, letting go of any stress, anxiety. Come into this moment. It can be very difficult to take a moment to ourselves, but you made it here, and thank yourself for that. Okay, so I always like to choose an affirmation for my practice. This can be anything you choose. It just needs to be something that you can actualize. Recently, I've been comparing myself to other people. I think this is something we often struggle with in this day of social media. So my affirmation today is going to be, I am all I need to be. If you like, you can borrow this affirmation and pick your own, whatever calls to you. Okay, so first we're gonna do a few neck stretches. First, bringing that left ear to that left shoulder. Do this gently, no need to rush. Back up the center, and bringing the right ear to the right shoulder. Do this another time on each side. Perfect. Okay, so next, we're going to be doing a lot of planking and that kind of thing today, so it's going to be important to warm up our wrists. So first, let's do some wrist rolls. No rush, really nice and gentle with ourselves with these. It's going in a circular motion. Reverse whichever direction you're going. Not sure where my cat went, but I'm going to imitate him for a moment. Let's knead our little paws. Work your way up. You're a cat with a nice fuzzy blanket. Work your way down. You're finally ready to do some meatballs. And what I'm doing is I'm cupping my hands together and making a little figure 4. Actually, it's more comfortable if you interlace your fingers, I think. Figure 4, figure 8. I can't talk today. Do little figure 8s with those meatballs. And go the opposite direction. messes with me every time. Oh, I can't even remember. Okay, we'll do your best to switch directions. Hopefully you're not as challenged as me on that one. Okay, finally we're just gonna do some shrugging of the shoulder. Making little circles. And we're gonna reverse directions. Just doing like circular shrugs. Okay, now we're ready to get into the core stuff. Okay, so from this position, it's gonna be coming into a boat pose. We're gonna begin this with bent knees. This will show you on the ground first. So first you can watch me and then we'll do it together in the hammock. So for a boat pose, what you wanna do is keep your spine nice and engaged. And you're gonna bring your feet up and kind of like counterbalancing yourself. But remember, trying to keep my back straight, no rounding here, keeping my feet that are bent parallel to the ground, and then holding. But we're gonna do this in the hammock. If you like, you can do it on the floor. We're gonna bring our feet up, doing that boat pose motion. Might be easier to bring your hands around. And also might give you a little extra support if these are challenging for you. Just gonna hold that for 3, 2, 1, and lower. Let's do that again. Bring the knees up, keeping your legs at the bent part parallel to the floor, keeping the hands out, keeping the spine straight for 3, 2, 1. All right, let's do one more. If you're feeling really ambitious, straighten your legs out completely. Should make it a little more challenging. And get ready. Again, engage in core, keeping the spine straight, not rounding. And start with bent legs, and then you can straighten out. Ooh, I feel that. And for 3, 2, 1, letting go. Perfect. All right, now it's gonna come down onto the floor. Release that a little bit. Child's pose. Okay. And now we're gonna do a bridge pose, that like aerial version. The way we're gonna do that, I'm gonna stick our feet up into the hammock so that it hooks right above our ankles. You're gonna spread your feet out so your feet in your toesy woesies can keep you fitted in the silk. So we've got the silk above our ankle. We're gonna press, bring your hands wide, press it on the floor. Now press down the entire length of your arm, even into the shoulders. And then we're gonna engage our core, pressing down into the fabric, keeping our body in as straight a line as possible, raising ourselves up. We'll hold that like the boat pose for 3, 2, 1, and release slowly. All right. And we'll raise up again, pressing down into those arms, into the shoulders, maybe squeezing those thighs together, pushing down into the fabric for 3, 2, 1, release. I know my glutes are starting to burn. Okay, now press down into the fabric again, raising our engaged body up for 3, 2, 1, Maybe sway it out. Like the sun shining right into my window. I'm sure it's gonna make the video awful, but it feels really nice, so I'm sorry. Okay, to release, we'll just bring our feet together and lift out. And then come onto your side. Just slowly bring yourself back up. Okay. Next, we are going to go into planking. Again, let's just give our wrists a few rolls. Wake them back up. All right, and then I am going to come down into a bridge pose. As I do this, I want above our ankle to be more or less underneath the plumb line. I'm gonna plant my hands down on the mat so I can give myself a nice strong foundation that I'm gonna be pushing off of. I want my weight to be spread all throughout my palm, my fingers. You don't want to be dumping all your weight right into that wrist. Raise my foot back up. I might need to look behind me. And again, you want it to hook above the ankle. So pushing down into those hands. We're going to hover our knee above the ground for about 3 seconds. So push down into that back leg. And then we're going to engage the core, sucking the stomach in, and allowing the knee to hover off the ground. For 3, 2, 1. Let it touch back down. Okay, we'll bring that foot out. Then we're just gonna switch. The right foot back in there, left foot back in there. And again, I'm gonna press down into my hands, engaging the core. And then I'm going to hover the right knee now. Lift it up. For 3, 2, 1. We'll do a full plank. So you're just going to push down into, whether it's your left leg or your right leg, you're gonna push down into that and bring up your other foot to meet so that both of your feet are suspended above the ground. And then we're just gonna hold here for 3, 2, 1. Bring it back down. Maybe to release a little bit, then back and get a little bit of a stretch in your hip flexors. Come back up to a nice strong tabletop, pressing through all of those fingers into the palm. And then we'll bring our foot back up for them to meet in a full plank. For 3, 2, 1. Bring the right leg down this time. Again, we will take this moment to stretch out our hip flexors a bit. Rest our core. Perfect. All right, now if you want to take it up another level still, we'll do some crunches with this plank. Come back up into that planking position. Bring your feet to your chest. Let them go. Knee to chest for a crunch. And then slowly let it go. One more. Knee to chest for a crunch. And let it go. And come back out. A moment for a child's pose. Come out of that child's pose and up onto your knees. So now what we're going to do is a locust pose, and this is going to determine whether or not you're ready to take it on the silks. What we're going to do for that, it's also like Superman's on the floor. Just going to lay down, bringing your arms to our side. We're going to squeeze our thighs together, lifting our feet up towards the ceiling, reaching our chest forward, our hands back. Coming into a locust pose, holding for 3, 2, 1. Okay, now if that wasn't too challenging, I'm gonna kind of try that on the silks. I'm gonna come forward, like down into a forward fold. I'm gonna make sure that the fabric is right below the top of the hip bone. Otherwise, you might slip it into your stomach, which can be uncomfortable. Step forward so that you're hinging. Readjust if you need to make sure it's right below your hip bone. What we're going to do is engage our core. So what we're going to do from here is maybe come into a little cannonball, and then slowly engage our core as we come up into that locust pose, but balancing on the fabric. Again, if this is too much, it's really fine. You can do it on the floor. Or maybe to work into this, you can give yourself a little help by holding onto the fabric, helping you to balance. This is a movement, if you're feeling comfortable, I encourage you to be playful, expanding, flying, however you see fit. It's easier if you hold your hands back to help with counterbalancing. If you want to challenge yourself further, you can bring your hands forward. Again, just do what you're comfortable with. So whenever you're ready with those, we'll come down into a downward facing dog using the fabric as a support. Okay, and from this downward dog, you allow one foot to hover. Bring it back down. Bring down up the other foot. Bringing both down to touch. And then we'll just walk it on up. Coming to a forward fold. Slowly coming up one vertebra at a time. Sometimes I get a little dizzy after inversions. If you feel this, you can just take a half fold. Allowing your inner ear to catch up with the rest of your body. If you ever feel really nauseous, just take a moment to sit down. Okay, so now we're going to come into a supported chair pose. And how you're going to do that is you're going to put the fabric about where your bra strap would be if you wear one. If not, you can think about it as being right below your scapula. And just sit down into that. And breathe a little bit. If it so calls you, we'll do some airplanes, as I like to call them. And we're going to do that by straightening our legs, and straightening our body out, engaging the core to keep a nice straight line. Maybe bringing those hands wide, and then we're going to come back. It's a little easier if you use momentum, but you're going to bend the knees, keep coming forward, and then push up so that the fabric catches you at the shoulders. That's why I like to call it airplanes. Let's do 5 of those. 1, 2. I need to move back a little. 3. 4. 5. Now if I have any SpongeBob fans about bringing around town, I prefer to grab my fabric while I do this. I feel like it makes me more secure, or I feel more secure. I'm not sure what. Just gonna shift your feet around. Really feel free to play with this movement. First we'll just do some half circles, straightening one leg and bending the other. So you come into this crescent swinging shape. And then come on around. Bring it around town. Do 3 each way. And the reverse directions. Remember, stay nice and engaged. You don't want to dump anything into your low back. All right. Perfect. So next, we come into some inversions. Think of this as our peak pose for the day. So bringing the fabric right at the top of my hip. For me at least, it's like right about where the top of my booty crack is. Lean back into the fabric. And hold on to the fabric for extra security as I let my feet come up and spread wide, 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 wide so that it catches on the fabric. And then I'm gonna bring my feet to touch before guiding them between the 2 bars here. I'm gonna hook at the knee and then I'm gonna engage my core. I'm also gonna pull up on the fabric so that I can come up into a seat. I have another video that breaks down this pose, so I will link that. And then I can choose, I can either come back down the way I came, if I like, I can hold on to one side, allow myself to gently drop. These are also really great to help you get past the sensitivity that you'll feel from the fabrics as you get started. Okay, so let's do that again. If you dropped on this side last time, this time we'll drop on the right side, leaning around the pole. Again, you can come out the way you came if you prefer. All right. While we're here, go ahead and get some Chandelier Pose in. Getting a little stretch in. Switch to the other side. Okay, I think my fabric's a little low. Just come up. Again, keeping your legs wide so you don't fall out. Inching your way up. Bringing your feet to the fabric or to the floor. All right, now we're gonna start cooling down. I know this is a lot for beginners exercise. But now we're gonna start cooling it down a little bit. Well, first we're gonna do I'm gonna sit in the fabric and do some seated twists. So I'm just gonna come into the bucket seat like before. So I'm gonna reach my left hand on the right side of the fabric. Then I'm gonna take my right hand, reach behind me, grabbing the back fabric, and I can leave it like this. If I want a little more resistance, I can even pull, deepening that stretch. Just an option though, not necessary. Should be a really nice stretch for the shoulder. If anything hurts, back out of it. And release the back hand from the front. We'll just do that on the other side, reaching the right hand on the left side of the fabric and bringing that left hand around behind you to reach the fabric, either staying here or pulling for a little more resistance. Get a little bit of a back bend in here, releasing. And then bringing, turn around. You can stay where you are. I'm just coming around so you can see me better. And staying in that seat. And come into a bow pose if it calls you. First, we'll begin by, you want the fabric above your hips so that it catches. You just keep holding onto the fabric for extra support, allowing yourself to get into the back bend. You only want to go as far as is comfortable for you. No, if you're really flexible, you can let go of the fabric and grab a hold of your feet for a bow pose. Sorry. Like something like that. Whenever you're ready, meet back up seating. Okay, now we're just gonna lay back in the fabric, stretching your feet out long. Allow your hands to go wherever's comfortable. I'm going to try to envelop the entirety of my arm today. We're just going to take a few banana shapes back and forth at your own pace. Now come on to whichever side feels like your favorite right now. Stretch out long. Then come into a fetal position. And then we're gonna stretch out. Come into a crescent shape, bending backwards. Don't need to force anything. Remember, we're just cooling down right now. Come back into a fetal position. And stretch it back out. If you like, you can just start flowing. kind of swimming in the hammock. Whatever calls to you. All right. Now we'll take a few moments to relax in Shavasana. I'm going to do it with my legs supported in a waterfall pose. If you like, you can do the same. Just grab the back of your end of your hammock, bring it around the poles, and wrap it fully around so that you can create these little stirrups. Is that the word? Footrests. And you can just relax. You might have to readjust it a little bit. All right. We'll just take a few moments, wind it down. You revisit your affirmation. If you picked an affirmation in the beginning, now is the great time to take a moment and repeat that 3 times to yourself. For this practice, I'm going to keep Shavasana short, but if you want to extend it, by all means, please stay right where you are. Whenever you're ready, sit up with me. Come out of the hammock so I can face you. Thank you again so much for sharing this practice with me. I hope it was a challenge for you, and I hope to do some higher level core work videos in the future. Again, if you like this video, please give it a like and consider subscribing to my channel. I really appreciate all the support. Thank you for making me a part of your practice. Namaste.